Imagine a bustling Roman city, full of life, laughter, and the sounds of a thriving marketplace! Now, imagine it all vanishing in a single day! In the year 79 AD, the city of Pompeii was at the peak of its glory, nestled at the foot of what they thought was just a mountain. They had no idea it was a sleeping giant, and its name was Vesuvius! Welcome to history's turning point. I'm Sir Historious, and today we're journeying back almost 2,000 years to witness a day. That time stood still for Pompeii. We're going to uncover the chilling story of its final hours when a cataclysmic eruption buried an entire civilization under a blanket of ash and rock, preserving it for centuries. This isn't just another history lesson. We're going to peel back the layers of time to understand what daily life was truly like for the people of Pompeii just moments before disaster struck. What were they eating? What were their homes like? What were their dreams and worries? We'll explore the vibrant streets, the grand villas, and the busy public baths that define this Roman jewel. Then, we'll turn our attention to the mountain. We'll examine the geology and the science behind Vesuvius' devastating eruption. How did it happen with virtually no warning? We'll break down the eruption sequence from the initial plume of smoke that blotted out the sun to the terrifying pyroclastic flows that raced down the slopes at hundreds of miles per hour. It was a force of nature so powerful it defied comprehension. Through letters from eyewitnesses like Pliny the Younger and the incredible archaeological evidence left behind, we will reconstruct the final, desperate hours of Pompeii's citizens. What did they see? What did they hear? We'll walk through the chaos and confusion as day turned to night, and the air filled with falling pumice and toxic gas. We'll follow the stories of those who tried to flee and those who sought shelter, making impossible choices in a world that was literally falling apart around them. One of the most haunting legacies of Pompeii is the plaster casts of the victims, frozen in their final moments. But how were these forms preserved so perfectly? We'll delve into the unique and tragic process that allowed archaeologists to create these moving snapshots of human life. These figures aren't just artifacts, they're a powerful, personal connection to the people who perished, telling us stories of love, fear, and sacrifice. Finally, we'll explore how this single event fundamentally changed our understanding of both Roman history and volcanology. The rediscovery of Pompeii in the 18th century was like finding a time capsule. It gave us an unprecedented, unfiltered glimpse into Roman life that no written text ever could. It also provided scientists with a terrifyingly detailed case study of a volcanic eruption, helping us better predict and prepare for similar disasters today. This story is more than a tale of destruction. It's a profound reminder of nature's power and human resilience. It shows us how, in the blink of an eye, history can be made and an entire world can be lost, only to be found again. So, join me as we step back in time to explore Pompeii's final, fateful day. Before we begin our journey, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any more of history's turning points. Now, let's travel back to 79 AD. Let's start by painting a picture of Pompeii before the eruption. It wasn't a quiet, provincial town. It was a lively, cosmopolitan hub with a population of around 11,000 to 15,000 people. Think of it as a resort town, a popular destination for wealthy Romans looking to escape the hustle and bustle of the capital. The streets were paved and lined with shops, workshops, and taverns known as thermopolia, which were essentially ancient fast food counters serving hot meals and wine. The graffiti scrawled on the city walls tells us so much about the people. They wrote love poems, political slogans, shopping lists, and even insults about their neighbors. It shows us a society that was literate, engaged, and full of personality. You can almost hear the sounds, the clatter of chariot wheels on the stone roads, the chatter of merchants haggling in the forum, the laughter of children playing games in the courtyards. Their homes ranged from modest apartments to luxurious villas with stunning frescoes, intricate mosaics, and beautiful gardens with fountains. The famous House of the Veti, for example, gives us a glimpse into the immense wealth and artistic taste of the city's elite. They had running water, sophisticated plumbing, and underfloor heating systems. In many ways, their daily lives were surprisingly modern. Religion was a central part of life, with grand temples dedicated to gods like Jupiter, Apollo, and Venus. But they also had a bustling entertainment scene, including a large amphitheater that could seat 20,000 spectators for gladiatorial contests. Life was good, and nobody suspected the beautiful mountain looming in the background was a threat. In fact, there had been a major earthquake 17 years earlier, in 62 AD, which caused significant damage. The people of Pompeii simply rebuilt. They were used to tremors in the region and saw them as a normal part of life, not as a warning sign of something far more terrifying brewing beneath them. This sense of security is what makes what happened next so tragic. On the morning of August 24th, 79 AD, or perhaps October, as recent evidence suggests, the day began like any other. The markets were open, fishermen were out on the bay, and people were going about their business. Then, around 1 in the afternoon, it happened. Mount Vesuvius erupted with a force that has been estimated to be 100,000 times the thermal energy of the Hiroshima atomic bomb. A colossal column of ash, gas, and pumice rock was blasted more than 20 miles into the stratosphere. It looked like a giant, dark umbrella pine tree, as described by Pliny the Younger, who watched the disaster unfold from a safe distance across the Bay of Naples. For the people of Pompeii, the sun disappeared, daylight vanished, and the sky turned black. A rain of light, porous pumice stones began to fall, accumulating at a rate of several inches per hour. At first, this was manageable. People could clear it off their roofs, but as the hours wore on, the weight of the pumice began to cause roofs to collapse, trapping and killing those sheltering inside. Panic set in. The air grew thick with suffocating ash and poisonous gases, making it hard to breathe. The constant rain of stone created a surreal, terrifying landscape. Some decided to flee immediately, heading for the coast or trying to escape by road. But many hesitated. They were in their homes, surrounded by their possessions. Leaving meant abandoning everything they had ever known. Others thought it would be safer to wait it out indoors. It was a fatal miscalculation. As night fell, the first pyroclastic surge occurred. This is the most deadly part of a volcanic eruption. It's a superheated, fast-moving avalanche of gas, ash, and rock that flows down the volcano slopes at incredible speeds. The first few surges didn't quite reach Pompeii, but they obliterated the nearby town of Herculaneum, instantly killing its inhabitants with thermal shock. For Pompeii, the end came in the early hours of the next morning. A series of powerful pyroclastic surges finally engulfed the city. These waves of death were over 300 degrees Celsius and moved at highway speeds. There was no escape. Anyone left in the city, whether they were running through the streets or hiding in their cellars, was killed instantly. The intense heat was the primary cause of death, not suffocation as was once believed. This brings us to the haunting plaster casts. When the victims were buried by the fine ash, it hardened around their bodies like a mold. Over the centuries, the soft tissues and clothing decomposed, leaving a perfectly preserved void in the hardened volcanic material. In the 1860s, archaeologist Giuseppe Fiorelli had a brilliant idea. When his team found one of these cavities, they carefully pumped it full of liquid plaster. Once it set, they chipped away the outer layer of ash, revealing a detailed cast of the person's final posture, their clothes, and even their facial expressions at the moment of death. We see a man huddled in a protective crouch. We see a mother holding her child. We see a dog chained and contorting as it tries to escape. These casts are an incredibly intimate and heartbreaking window into the human tragedy of Pompeii. They transformed the victims from anonymous statistics into real people, frozen in their last act of life. The eruption was over in less than 24 hours, but its impact was permanent. Pompeii, Herculaneum, and other surrounding settlements were buried under dozens of feet of volcanic material, wiped from the map and lost to memory for over 1,500 years. When the cities were finally rediscovered and excavated, it was a revelation. It was a city frozen in time. Archaeologists found loaves of bread still in the ovens, meals left half-eaten on tables, and coins in the hands of those who tried to flee. Every discovery provided a level of detail about Roman daily life that had been previously unimaginable. It corrected our assumptions, filled in the gaps left by written texts, and gave us a direct, unfiltered look into the past. The disaster also became a foundational event for the science of volcanology. The detailed account written by Pliny the Younger is considered the first scientific description of a volcanic eruption in history. In fact, a certain type of powerful eruption is now named Plinian in his honor. By studying the layers of ash and pumice at Pompeii, modern scientists can reconstruct the event minute by minute, helping them understand volcanic hazards and improve forecasting models to save lives today. The story of Pompeii is a powerful testament to the fragility of life and the immense power of nature. But it's also a story about preservation and discovery. The same force that destroyed the city also created a time capsule, allowing us to connect with the past in a way that is both deeply scientific and profoundly human. Vesuvius stopped time on that day in 79 AD, but in doing so, it ensured that Pompeii and its people would never be truly forgotten. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back to Pompeii's final hours. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, please hit the like button and subscribe to History's Turning Point for more deep dives into the moments that changed our world. Let me know in the comments what historical event you'd like to see covered next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.